Look, people stand and make photo on these areas. I saw on YouTube that people in museum stand and make photos. On this no, I don't want because it is ship, I'm afraid.
Sorry, Mr. Harrison, I'm fair on it. What's so special about the Ishmael ships then? Luxury, James. That's the mark of the West Star Line. Luxury and elegance. The better sort expected. It's made them fight it. And that's why they're going to build them bigger still. Did you hear that, James? Over dinner, before the gentleman retired to talk, his lordship was talking about the largest dry dock in Belfast. Enormous gantries, a dry dock built for a ship that hadn't even been built yet. Footman here is in service, he keeps to himself, James. Sorry, Mr. Harrison, they didn't say anything precise, I was merely speculating. You may have speculated more accurately than you realised. I did? I, of course, was privileged to accompany the gentleman to the smoking room. They are indeed proposing a new generation of ocean liners. Big ships, Mr. Harrison. Largest and most luxurious ever. Not so fast as Cunard's Lusitania, but half as big again, and more to the liking of the upper crust. 3, I think they said. Beats me where they find this sort of money from. That's the clever part, James. Mr. Ismay has the backing of the distinguished American financier John Pierpont Morgan through his shipping firm, the International Mercantile Marine Company. But I thought he built British ships. They fly the British flag, James. They shall be constructed in our finest shipyard by our most skilled craftsmen. Great Leviathans acting as ambassadors for the Empire. British ships built with American money. Whatever's the most.
That's the 2 ships being built. You see with the big gantries.
Ever be privileged to travel in such magnificent surroundings.
Oh, this again, exhibition.
The gentleman tried to talk. His lordship was talking about the largest dry dock in Belfast. Enormous gantries and dry docks built for a ship that hadn't even been built yet. Here's a service. Sorry, Mr. Harrison. They didn't say any precise, I was merely speculating. Speculated more accurately than I realised.
Okay, you must go because battery will shortly.
Turn it off.
No, why?
Well, you're not videoing, just turn it off and turn it
No,
off.
I would like to make video, why? I not will do video with pieces.
Shipping firm, the International Mercantile Marine Company. I thought we built British ships. They fly the British flag, James. They shall be constructed. I find a shipyard. Ambassadors for the Empire. British ships built with American money. Where was the war coming to? Flags go right on the James. Neither of us would ever be privileged to travel in such magnificent surroundings. His lordship and Mr. Ismay are eminent men. Ireland War, first of all, as greatest shipbuilder, and the White Star Line is the jewel of the Atlantic services. Tanya rules the waves. I hear Cunard is faster now. It's a matter of speed, James. Not for Mr. Ismay's passenger. James, you always don't have time on their hands. We'll have none of that talk here. Sorry, Mr. Harrison, I'm fair one out. What's so special about Mr. Ishmay's ships, then? Luxury, James. That's the mark of the White Star Line. Luxury and elegance. The better sort expected. And that's why they're going to build them bigger still. you hear that? Over dinner. The gentleman retired to talk. His lordship was one of the largest joints in Belfast. Enormous gantries and dry dock built for a ship that had nearly built yet.
Where are you?
Not so fast as Cumart's Lusitania, but half as big again, and more to the liking of the upper crust. 3, I think they said. Beats me where they find this sort of money from. This may have backing from the distinguished
Something like that.
Mercantile Marine Company. But I thought the British ships, flying the British flag, James, they shall be constructed in our fine shipyard with a most steel class. Very quiet, acting ambassadors for the Empire. British ships built in American way. Whatever the world coming to, it's not the way to be right by the James. Neither of us never be able to ditch the trouble. It's a magnificent
We just keep repeating
This is part of the...
Hi folks, so what this gives you is an idea of the height of what the Arl Gantry was. The gantry itself is about 4 times the height of this here, and that is where Titanic and her sister ships were built out in the subway just behind our building. So the scaffolding exists and held them until they were both launched. The men, whenever they came to work here, it wasn't priced with the thick soil at the bottom, they had to make their way up to the top. But they didn't have a choice. There were 2 elevators provided, but if you asked any man in Belfast what he would rather do, he would say he preferred to climb. Carl and Wolf were very technologically advanced, however the men here in Belfast they were not. They didn't even have electricity in their homes, so they were not used to it. So instead, they climbed all the way up to the top, that would take about 30 minutes a day, and they were not paid to climb. They started to receive their wages once they reached the top. They spent 12 hours a day working hard, and two half-an-hour lunch breaks, and you only had 7 minutes a day to use the bathroom. So the bathroom was included down here at the very bottom of the gantry, and it was stationed by the Minuteman. The Minuteman might have sounded like a superhero, but he just stood outside the toilet door time here to order break. As soon as he seen you being there for 7 minutes throughout the whole day, you then ticked off a sheet and you lost some of your wages. So folks, here's a scenario before we go. Imagine you're working here, you've had an extra cup of tea for your lunch, you've used your 7 minutes, but you have 4 hours of your shift left. Are you going to work all the way down here, queue up with your colleagues that work 3,000 men working here, and use the bathroom right here, or are you going to stay up there, then you can take your course where you were, and then the guys down here worry about what was going to fall on your head. So let's just say you had to be sure you were going to be wearing your hat every day over here. So now folks, you're making your way around the corner to the elevator, up to level 4, be sure to have a look over the edge.
And how long is such walk, Popsy? How long we will walk such?
walk. So what do you mean? I'm not going to go up there, or
No, I want to tell just that I'm little tired. Quickly.
Let's get to work.
Alright folks, just like this way. Just like this way. Okay? Just run this way.
Let's get to work.
And folks, if you just want to keep on heading on around this way here, this will bring you straight round to the shipyard ride.
Okay.
Just stay on the left-hand side of the barrier, and that'll bring you onto the ride.
Okay, thank you.
This is what it was like working as you build the ship. Yeah. Look, here's the ship being built. You see, from bottom, slowly building. You got 7 minutes. Oh, look, look.
Mamma mia.
Where is he?
Johnny, Johnny, Johnny. Oh, you know.
Finally we will see. Because I'm tired.
Folks, whenever you're getting on the ride, watch the steps and see what's on the wheel as well, okay? Okay, folks, if you wait there for me, okay?
I came in here the day after my 14th birthday. That's where you work in Belfast. My dad got me a start.
The vanished?
Another too tired.
Where you just go?
I would like no, I would like on this.
I came in here the day after my 14th birthday. Harland and Wolf. That's where you worked in Belfast. My dad got me my start. Then my brothers after me. You could hear the noise from where we lived, but nothing prepared you for the size of it.
Sat in the front.
Oh, like it.
Put me to work on 401. That's what we called her. We used to be the largest passenger ship in the world, but we didn't call her Titanic then. I was there from the beginning. I watched the ship race through the keel blocks. They set big wooden blocks on the slipway to start with. Then the keel at top of it, like a backbone. And the frames attached to that, like a skeleton. Workshops everywhere. It took weeks to find your way around. There were workshops of every trade you ever heard of. Painters, sailmakers, coppersmiths, boiler makers, cabinet makers. I even learned a bit about French plaster.
Ireland was a fine place to work, but dangerous. Every ship cost a life, and there'd be lots of injuries besides.
I was in the engine works for a while. Very well equipped it was. That's where we built the triple expansion engines. 2 of them, each as high as a 3-story house.
I worked in the frame bending shop. You'd heat steel beams in the furnace, then hit them onto slabs of cast iron and hammer them curved. It was skilled work. You had to bend them more than you needed because the frame straightened out a little when it drew.
Steel plates that made up the hull weighed up to 4.5 tons. They were taller than the da.
The plates were overlapped on the edges. Some were raised, one after another. We called it clincher. One of the foremen told me years ago, that's how you built steel ships.
I worked as a heater boy. You had to heat the rivets on a wee plate. You pumped the bellows till the rivet was white hot. Then you get a hold of it with your tongs and throw it up to the catcher. And he put it in the hole in the plate with the holder up.
There were 2 of us on the other side of the plate with the holder up. We had to hammer the rivet so it filled the hole before it turned dull red.
The double bottom. That's a wee space we called the tanks, made up of steel plates. The rest of the rivet squad all had to fit into that gap.
Very unusual.
One of the 4 men would check each rivet with a special hammer. If it made a ringing sound, we'd have to go back and chase it out afterward.
I'd get scared working down in that double bottom. You only had candles for light.
The constant hammering against the shell plates. You could hear it all over Belfast. Some of those boys ended up stone deaf, so they did. We were paid 31 bob a week. The heater boy and catcher got 16 bob. But we all worked the same 54 hours.
The upper deck was steel too, and part of the strength of the ship. There's no straight legs in the ship, and when you look down the weather deck, you can see the shear of the hull, the stopped reflection at sea.
The stern frame had to be strong enough to take the rudder turning in heavy seas. You'd have all these timbers and guy wires to steady the frame, and men scurrying around like ants underneath.
When we came to launch day, I was torn between pride and fear. The standing ways were coated in tallow, train oil and soft soap. So the ship would slide when they shifted her weight off the blocks. That was the most dangerous part. And the shipwrights were knocking away the last props. They were under compression, you see, and the sliding ways would be released by the hydraulic trigger.
100,000 people watched the launch. Some paid a bob to sit in the reserve seat. There were extra trams laid on. Then we all went off to the pub to wish her well.
Doc, you were proud to be an island man that day. And Titanic was the pride of Belfast.
Thank you for joining us. The tour will end in a few seconds. Please exit the car carefully and make sure you don't leave any personal possessions behind. When the car has stopped, push the lap bar down and lift up to exit safely. And mind your step as you leave the car. We look forward to seeing you again.
Don't forget from camera back.
Put it in here, didn't you?
No, this was separate, red.
Are you sure?
Yes, of course you. Red color. Did you find?
Very interesting.
Thank you. It is better than gold. Pops, and we come back now downstairs, yes?
Sure.
I think that yes.
There must have been 100,000 spectators here who have seen the finest sight in all of Belfast.
Pops, come. I don't want to stand.
There's upwards of 100,000 here. Just look at the men in the back.
We saw this all. That's why for us we must go.
The hammering. The moving the
We
cable.
already was with this lady. This for people who is not travel with
No, this is part of all the tour.
But I made this already.
No, you haven't seen. Look, here she is.
Yes, of course, from start. I made this. I even photo made. This lady, we was in this area. That's why we can go downstairs. Because we repeat again to look from start.
Then, at 8 p.m. that evening, she departed Belfast for Southampton. She was
I have this video. Of
I don't know
course.
where from, because
We was
I haven't seen
this.
it.
I made even photo. This.
Water ocean dog, covering almost 16 acres and dredged to a depth of 40 feet.
Maybe you
England's premier
wrote
passenger
about
port was
something
flourishing,
different.
with new shops, restaurants and businesses opening to service the growing passenger trade. And job opportunities on board ship and in the docks brought migrants from all over Britain and Ireland. Almost 400 of Titanic's crew live in Southampton's northern district.
And you've seen all this, right?
This no, we didn't see. No, this no.
The prospect of a job on Titanic was a welcome relief for crewmen.
This area.
Fantastic. Hey, how about that?
Titanic was dressed in her signal flags and pennants as a Good Friday tribute. The people of Southampton were welcomed. By April 10th, the ship had been fully provisioned, including 75,000 pounds of fresh meat, 40,000 eggs, 1,000 sweetbreads, and 8,000 cigars. At 7 a.m., Captain Edward John Smith came aboard the Titanic to prepare for the Board of Trade muster at 8. Around 9:30, the first passengers arrived on the boat train from London Waterloo. By late morning, all the passengers and crew were aboard, minus 2 firemen who were delayed in a public house and missed the departure. At noon on April 10th, bang on time and fully expecting to be in New York within a few days, the Titanic sounded her whistle and cast off her lines. Titanic's launch in May 1911 was watched by an estimated 100,000 people. Almost a year of fitting out followed, transforming the massive hull into the sumptuously appointed liner described by the White Star Line as the Queen of the Ocean. By March 1912, Titanic was ready for her maiden voyage. For Belfast, the triumphant culmination of many years' planning and labour. Before she could be handed over, Titanic had to undergo sea trials. On the 2nd of April 1912, she carried out a series of manoeuvres in open water, under the watchful eye of Board of Trade Inspector Francis Carruthers. Then, at 8 p.m. that evening, she departed Belfast for Southampton. She was preceded by a considerable weight of expectation. At Southampton, the White Star Line had already constructed the massive deep-water ocean dock, covering almost 16 acres and dredged to a depth of 40 feet. England's premier passenger port was flourishing, with new shops, restaurants and businesses opening. Almost a year of fitting out followed, transforming the massive hull into the sumptuously appointed liner described by the White Star Line as the Queen of the Ocean. By March 1912, Titanic was ready for her maiden voyage. For Belfast, the triumphant culmination of the many years of learning and labor. Around 9:30, the first passengers arrived, and they were trained from London to Waterloo. By late morning, all the passengers and crew were aboard. Minor two firemen who were delayed from their house and
that was interesting.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
I said that this video.
Marina saw it.
I stand and I felt like it is moving. Oh, fantastic! Yes, fantastic. Now all this already for me not interesting.
Did you watch this from the beginning?
Yeah, mate.
Did you watch it from the beginning?
Yeah, just now.
No,
Start now.
From start? Ah, from start.
I watched it from the beginning.
We got halfway through it.
And where is Irina?